let's move it on. The guys have shared their very interesting opinion. Now it's time to get downright dirty, nasty confrontation and everything. Why? Because it's time for the debate. Thank you very much for staying. This is the debate on the Premier League preview show. Today's question, a very, very simple one. Is it too early to start worrying for Frank Lampard? Is it too early to start worrying for Frank Lampard? 1 league game played, 1 loss. 1 European game played, if you want to think about it as an official game. 1 loss. I don't know if you want to get worried, but that's the question. Is it too early to start worrying for Super Frank Lampard? Friends, you get the first bite. Are we worrying for Frank Lampard? Is it too early? Or we should be concerned?
No. You can be concerned, but not after 1 match.
Okay.
So
2?
No. I don't think that at this point in time, it's appropriate for us to begin to have major concerns about Frank Lampard and major doubts as to whether or not this is going to work.
Why?
I think when you look at the situation at Chelsea Football Club, when Frank Lampard walked in, he walked in at the time when the club's best player had left. Frank Lampard came in at a time when Chelsea's best defender, arguably, in the last 3 years, has left in David Luiz. He came in at a time when the club can't replace any of those players.
Okay.
He's coming and he's brought in a lot of youngsters. If you look at the Chelsea squad, under the age of 25, half of the squad members are all under the age of 25. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, 23. Mason Mount, 20. Kovacic, 24. Pulisic, 20. Tomori, 19. Emerson, 23. So you have all of these youngsters. Kepa, 24. All of these youngsters, a lot of them... Tammy Abraham,
yeah.
Okay, 21. A lot of these youngsters, you cannot expect them, even on a normal day, no matter how good they are, you can't expect them to walk to Old Trafford and want them to win at Old Trafford on a normal day.
Yeah, but Chelsea's reputation precedes them, and so
yes,
there's that standard they have got to meet.
But here's the question. Does Chelsea's reputation with the kind of squads that they've always had, does it precede this one?
Okay.
Exactly. So it's not the same. So I'm saying that at this stage of Lampard's season, of the Chelsea, the atmosphere at Chelsea, the expectations at Chelsea is one of hope, one of patience, and one that does not necessarily require Frank Lampard to win every single game.
But
defeats will come.
Hope and patience they are not infinite resources.
They are not.
They will run out.
They don't run out after 1 game.
Okay.
So if you lose at Manchester United at 4-0,
yeah,
it is one of those things that will happen during a season. Maurizio Sarri lost 6-0 at Manchester City.
Yeah, I remember that.
Didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Pep Guardiola lost 4-0 at Everton. Man City supporters or the board didn't get up and say we are worried that this might not work.
Okay.
That didn't happen. Unai Emery got thumped in the Europa League final by 4-1 by Chelsea. Nobody has said, go away. Okay. Nobody has said, ooh, is this going to work? What did they do? They went into the transfer market, gave him more players. So there's even more trust after he lost 4-1. So at this stage of the season, I think it's absolutely uncalled for anybody to think that Frank Lampard, it should not even be a debate for anybody to think that this is a point we should start worrying about Frank Lampard. And we have seen enough in Frank Lampard since he's coming to know what he's trying to do. So, and sometimes that's all you need. You need to see the blueprint. And the blueprint is that Lampard is trying to do something that's never been done at Chelsea. Integrate youth and winning at the same time. And there is no better manager to do that than Frank Lampard. And he started on a good note. He may not have won, but football, as they say, is not always about the victories. because the victories will come. If the performance continues to be good, the victories will come. If the performance is horrible and you're losing, then you have a problem.
Okay.
But if the performance is good and you're losing, you know that the results will come. And managers say that all the time.
Okay.
That's why a manager would say, I was happy with the performance even though we lost.
All right.
Exactly. Because they know that if the performance is good, the results will come.
So you're saying that when we look at everything, we need to give Lampard time. No need to panic. Everything will turn out well. All right, Daniel Koranteng, you've heard Fentuo Tahiru's argument. He says Lampard doesn't have his best player. Chelsea's best player is gone. Transfer ban. He's had to use youngsters. It's not in Chelsea's history. So what is this question we are asking about getting worried? We should allow the man to work in peace.
Yeah, he mentioned Pep Guardiola losing 4-0 in his first season in the Premier League. Yeah. Bad result. But Manchester City knew they had Pep Guardiola, multiple-time Champions League winner. He had won a lot of league titles and he had won everywhere he went.
Is a Premier League winner,
no, not as a manager.
Winner,
not as a manager.
League.
So he had that reputation. Unai Emery lost a Europa League final. Arsenal don't necessarily need to panic because before he's won 3 times in a row. He's won cup titles. He's done it. Okay. So he has a reputation. Frank Lampard does not have a reputation. He has a reputation of playing very well and failing at the last moment. He played fantastic football last season with Derby County. But look, I always say, as pundits and as fans, a lot of people pay attention to how nice the football is. But subconsciously, we are all concerned about results.
But it's just one game.
Yeah, let me. It's a point I'm building. Lampard was absolutely fantastic with Derby County last season.
Yes.
But at the critical moment in the final, they failed. They did not make the Premier League.
Which is the playoff final.
The playoff final. They did not make the Premier League. Now, it's not Lampard, or it's not it's a situation that concerns me and some of the decisions that he's made. That's why Chelsea need to be concerned. We all see what he's trying to do. No coach walks into a team and says, I'm going to lose. Nobody does that. AVB walked into Chelsea and we all knew what he had done previously with Porto. He was trying to play a certain brand of football. It did not work. There's no guarantee your style of football is going to work and is going to bring results. And for Lampard, some of the decisions he made in that opening game is why we should worry.
Like what?
First of all, Ben made a fantastic point last week when he said Chelsea's hands are tied, but in some situations, you have a choice to make. You have 3 forwards in Giroud, in Tammy Abraham, and in Batshuayi. Amongst the 3 of them, who is most proven in the Premier League? It's Giroud. After that comes Batshuayi before Tammy Abraham. But the insistence of being
20 plus
in the championship. In the championship, no. Okay. The championship is not the Premier League. If the championship was the Premier League, Norwich City should be winning the Premier League by now. Or Huddersfield shouldn't have been going down. They should be competing on the same level as the Evertons and the West Hams. No, it's not the same. So that loyalty and insistence on playing the young players and forcing them to play and I will stick with them and it will come good. There's no time. Now, you talk about the results being disappointing, but the performance was good. This wasn't just a 4-0 loss to anybody. It was a 4-0 loss to your direct rivals for top 4 football. You've not just lost, but you've given everybody the psychological advantage over you and the mental advantage over you. That is why Leicester City will come to Stamford Bridge over the weekend and have confidence that they can take on this Chelsea team and beat them.
But everybody learns. Maybe Lampard he's learned.
Everybody learns, but those decisions, opting to go at the back, managers are smart. You have to be smart. You cannot field Zuma and Christensen and insist that Zuma plays from the back. Do you get me? Even Maurizio Sarri, and you will bear with me, last season, when Rudiger started playing, it wasn't every time Rudiger was forced to play from the back. Occasionally he would do it, and gradually he became better. But you don't put a Zuma, and you could tell that Zuma didn't have he had the instruction to play from the back. And he almost cost Chelsea on 2 occasions. You can't throw somebody who is... Okay. You can't throw a striker into defense and expect him to function. These are some decisions that I looked over the weekend, and I saw that, look, it's worrying. It's a problem. There was some encouragement during the week in the Super Cup. But what's the guarantee that Lampard is going to continue in that vein? Because we've looked at players like Mason Mount, players like Tammy Abraham, who I can bet you will play. He wants them to play. He trusts them, and he's going to put them in. Now, you look at the difference between the United starting lineup and the Chelsea starting lineup over the weekend. Look, it was just 2 players in Maguire and Wan-Bissaka who were different than the teams or different from the team last season. Just 2 additions. You look at the last player who came on, and he also came from the Championship, Daniel James. You look at Chelsea, and it's virtually the same squad that started for them. You can even say Chelsea bought Zuma from Everton, who did quite well last season because he looked like a new addition. Okay. So it's not a depleted Chelsea team. At this level, and for a team that wants to finish in Champions League positions, you can't lose 4-0 to a direct rival and go to a press conference and tell me you're encouraged by performance. You can't do that. You have to manage the game well, especially if you know the kind of situation you are in.
So for you, we should get worried. We should be worried.
It is very worrying, not just the decisions, but some of the utterances in the dressing in the press conferences.
Here's the question. Okay, talk about the stubbornness of Frank Lampard and insistence on playing the youth. He's played. You're using one game. In this very next game, after that 4-0 loss against Man United, Frank Lampard took drastic decisions that showed that this is a manager that can adapt. This is a manager that is willing to adapt.
But
so
why?
The Tim Abraham example
why make the mistake in the first place?
No, it wasn't a mistake in the first place.
It was a chance he was given.
Let's be honest with ourselves. The reason N'Golo Kante didn't play against Man United was because he wasn't even fit in the first place. And Lampard said that because he said, I can't drag him out of the treatment room to come and play him. The moment he was fit,
he played, and we also
the same as Giroud. Giroud.
So once Giroud was fit, he also played.
Yes, and also because you have to adapt to the opponent. And I think that that's actually the biggest encouragement for me. That Frank Lampard is a manager that is willing to learn, that is willing to adapt.
All right,
and that's very positive.
Okay, let me go to just 1 or 2 messages. This one on Twitter says, no matter how awful Chelsea play, United and Chelsea will never be above us at the end of the season, okay? Somebody says, no need getting worried about Lampard. With this team and with these 2 great games, with what the lads have shown, the future can only be brighter. Somebody says, buy for him in the transfer window. Then we can think of getting worried, okay? This one says, allow Lamps to work. So far, it's been good. All right, interesting messages coming in there.